Hi everyone, hope you're enjoying the summer. I'm just going to start before this month's reading by showing you a little trick that I've discovered for myself. You learn by doing, don't you, after years of reading tarot, and it's just a technique for simplifying things. Say you want to use half the deck. Say you just want to use the majors and the aces and the court cards. You don't actually have to separate the deck out, like that, do you? You don't have to. What you can do is this. You can say, I'm using half the deck. I'm only interested in majors, court cards and aces, and I'm going to draw 3 cards. You can do this. There's a major. There's an ace. And there's a major again, but I just want to show you what happens if it doesn't work like that. There's a major, there's a court card, there's another court card. This is confusing. Okay, that's not a major, it's not an ace, and it's not a court card. So I'm going to keep on pulling cards until I get the kind of card I want. And there's a major. There's a major. And there's a court card. See what I mean? So you don't actually have to separate out the deck. And I don't like separating out the deck, because once you've done that, you've got to shuffle really carefully, haven't you? You've got to shuffle really thoroughly. I'll do it one more time to show you what I mean. There. There. And there. And that is my reading, and we're just going to ignore the cards underneath. That's so simple. It's taken me 100 years to work that out for myself. So, reading for August 2025. I hope you're well. I'm feeling a bit better. I'm taking it easy. I'm wrapping myself in cotton wool, sleeping as much as I want to sleep, and my brain, I think, is gradually recovering. So let's ask for 3 questions for the month of August, okay? Please give us 3 questions for the month of August. So these cards are our questions. This is our structure, it's not our reading, it's our questions. And I want to use the majors, the court cards and the aces only, because that's the spread that I've made up for myself. 3 questions for August, please. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Now, as these are questions, I'm not using reversed meanings. Okay, and those are our 3 questions. Now we have to decide how we are going to use these cards as questions. We're just building the spread. The Hanged Man. In what way do we have to let go and be passive, I'm going to say today. The Star. What is our guiding principle? How can we steer our way through the month of August? And Knight of Pentacles, I'm going to say, what do we have to take care of this month? Okay. Let go and be passive. How do we steer? How do we guide our way? How do we find our way? And what do we have to take care of? So let's ask for 3 answers. Please give us 3 answers for the month of August. Okay. We have a Three of Pentacles, a Five of Swords, and a reversed Nine of Swords. And I'm getting quite an interesting, provocative, counterintuitive feeling for August as a kind of month of healing and restoration and even mental health. I'm taking the reversed Nine of Swords. Here's the Nine of Swords, the Nightmare card. And I'm going to create for myself during this reading a reversed meaning for that card. I'm going to call it mental health, okay? If that is really mental ill health, let's call that mental health. And so what do we have to take care of in August? Our mental health, our mood, if you like. I think we need to give ourselves what we need to function well, mentally, emotionally, and in terms of mood, okay? And that can be done practically. That could be as practical. This is Knight of Pentacles. He's very earthy. That could be as practical as getting the right food. It can be as practical as making sure you're getting out of the house. Whatever steps you need to take care of yourself and your own mental health in the month of August, think about that and give that to yourself. Now, these two are also very counterintuitive, I think. And it reminds me of what I got for the month of July. So this may be a summer 2025 thing. That what do we have to be passive about and let go of? And in a sense, stand on its head and reverse our expectations. But I think I said we're going for, this is the question of what do we have to be passive about? And Three of Pentacles, it's not a passive card, is it? It's being constructive and making plans. Now, as with my July reading, what I would say for this is it feels like I like this image. I find it very eloquent, and it feels like the way of getting your projects sort of started and strong and well based. The best thing to do might be to not push them, okay, and to do the opposite, which is like maybe not rushing around, starting a new company or pushing and ringing up people and networking and being a champion. It feels like a letting go of that need to construct, okay? And most provocative of all, what is our guiding principle? How can we get through the month of August? What is our guiding star, our orientation? And we got the Five of Swords, the defeat card. Now, I have a positivistic meaning for every card in the tarot. And for me, the Five of Swords, if it comes up, for example, in an advice position, which this kind of is, it's accepting defeat. And we can also soften that word. It's accepting just when things didn't go the way you wanted them to go. Because after all, that happens, 20 times a day, doesn't it? To even the most successful person. And I think sometimes the key thing is how you respond to things not going the way you wanted them to go. The words that came into my mind for this pairing was, if letting go of these defeats, however minor, however major, is our guiding principle, then the words I got was, defeat after defeat after defeat. Now that might feel that might sound very negative, but there is a Zen phrase, which is that why not let your life be one continuous mistake? Which also sounds horrendous, you know, to anyone who's like a go-getter and who wants to, snatch those glittering prizes and generally be gorgeous. But there is a message in that phrase, is that if life can be one continuous mistake, then it can be creative, because mistakes are creative. And things not turning out the way you wanted them to turn out, if you can take it well, that can be a guiding principle for living a creative life. There are many people in history who have had great success and have gone through a whole series of what you could call failures to get to that. I believe Abraham Lincoln is one of those. You know, a whole string of projects and ventures and even careers that didn't quite pop. And then there comes a point where it all adds up to something which, even in worldly terms, is a great success. You know, you're president suddenly. I relate to this. I've done all sorts of things. And not all of them have been huge successes, but they all contribute to making me the person I am, and giving me my particular portfolio of ideas and resources and learning and knowledge and sensitivities. Okay, so I think that's maybe the central challenge for this month, to think about that. And I mean, this is very laid back and contemplative, and in a sense, I think gentle and nurturing as a recommendation for the month of August. I'd like to do one other thing while I'm here, which is theme and suggestions, or theme and suggestion, and just see if we get a corroboration. Just see if we get a kind of like a fleshing out of what we just saw. Please give us a theme and a suggestion, or suggestions, for the month of August 2025. Okay. So here I'm going to say Four of Swords reversed. Our theme, or maybe our issue, this spread sometimes is issue and suggestions. I'm going to say our issue is restlessness. And how can this be dealt with? Well, there's the acceptance here, Wheel of Fortune in the advice position, the acceptance that some things are beyond our control. And there's again here, reversed Ace of Wands, a feeling of not pushing, not thrusting ahead like Julius Caesar. And who can be our advisor here? Well, this lovely, enlightened Aquarian King of Swords, who keeps the peace when things get a bit heated, and calmly judges and calmly finds solutions. He's also, I think, he's the wisdom of Solomon, the King of Swords. I might have slightly pushed him from his original mythological meaning there, but that's how he's landed in my mind. an intuitive and brilliant finder of solutions in situations which feel a bit heated and a bit distressing, or what's the word? Threaten to put us off balance and put us into a bad frame of mind. Okay, so that's a little bit of coolness and a little bit of remaining calm and logical as we deal with our restlessness and nurture ourselves and insist on taking a little break from pushing ahead. Okay. And I've been featuring in this video the lovely Robin Attor tarot, which I think is in some ways one of the best tarots ever made. And the other two, as you probably know, that was the funny old Morgan Greer from the early 80s, which is definitely a strong flavour from those years. And then from the 2000s, we had this, the Bianco Nero, which I don't use much because I prefer colour, but if you want a little bit of Italian style, a little bit of chicness in your day, then the Bianco Nero might be for you. I'm Robert Farrar. You have been watching The Hands and hearing the voice of Robert Farrar. This show is called Tea and Tara, and I will be back next week with more of this stuff. Have a lovely week. Bye.